Last night, late-night TV turned into total chaos. What was supposed to be just another big-name interview ended up as something no one could believe, not even the show's own crew. Elon Musk, the world's most famous tech billionaire, broke down in tears during a live taping of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It started off normal. Musk walked onto the stage calm, confident, ready to talk rockets, cars, and whatever else was on his mind. But minutes into the conversation, something shifted. Colbert didn't go easy. He didn't ask the usual soft questions. Instead, he came in sharp, pushing Musk harder than anyone had ever seen on air. The smiles faded fast. The crowd didn't know whether to laugh or hold their breath. And then, everything snapped. Tears, shouting, a mic thrown across the stage. A billionaire totally undone on live television. It happened so quickly that even the camera crew froze. What started as a simple interview turned into a public meltdown. And now, the internet is on fire. People are rewatching it over and over, asking the same question. How did it all go so wrong so fast? The whole thing was supposed to be huge. Elon Musk was coming on The Late Show, and the buzz had started days earlier. Everyone called it a tech visionary visit. Online headlines teased an inside look at the future, Mars missions, self-driving Teslas, and what was really going on behind the scenes at X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. The official promo clip had Colbert saying it was a big night with a big brain, and fans were pumped. It felt like one of those moments where a powerful mind would sit down, share some wild ideas, and maybe drop a headline or two. When Elon finally walked out under the bright studio lights, the crowd exploded. He had that signature walk. Slow, controlled, sure of himself. He wore a slight grin like he already knew what questions were coming. This was someone used to attention, used to control. Colbert greeted him with the usual handshake, a smile, and a seat at the desk. On the surface, everything looked like a normal high-profile interview. But behind the scenes, something else was brewing. Insiders from the show started whispering, hours before the taping, that Colbert wasn't planning to go soft. In fact, some staff said he was looking for a moment, a crack in the armor. Elon's been in the headlines nonstop. He's clashed with journalists, mocked regulators, and posted bizarre rants. Colbert had watched it all, and he was ready to bring that energy into the studio. One staffer even said Colbert wanted to push him, not just for laughs. He wanted to see what would happen if Elon wasn't in control. Musk, though, didn't seem to notice. He leaned back in his chair, ready to talk about colonizing Mars, his vision for AI, maybe even joke a little about the chaos on his platform. But that's not what Colbert was aiming for. He didn't want tech talk. He wanted tension. And the moment Musk opened his mouth, that smile on Colbert's face wasn't just friendly, it was sharp. He had something to prove. The crowd had no clue. They thought they were getting a fun interview with a genius. What they got instead was the start of something totally different, something no one saw coming. This wasn't going to be about ideas. It was going to be a battle. The moment Musk sat down, things felt a little off. The small talk was short. No warm-up jokes, no silly banter about electric cars or space travel. Instead, Colbert leaned in with a look that didn't match his usual, playful vibe. Then came the first punch, not physical, but the kind that slices straight through the air. "Are you saving the world, Elon?" he asked. "Or just your ego?" The line landed hard. The audience laughed, but not everyone. Some shifted in their seats. A few let out those awkward laughs people give when they're not sure if something's funny or way too real. Elon blinked for a second, like he was surprised the gloves were already off. Then he sat up straighter, kept his tone calm, and answered, without blinking. "I'm here to talk about progress, not play your games," he said. His voice was even, but you could tell he wasn't smiling anymore. Whatever charm he'd brought onto that stage had already started to wear off. Colbert didn't let up. He cut straight to a screen behind them and rolled a clip from Elon's platform, showing a video where Musk bragged about outsmarting regulators and building empires while others complain. The tone in the clip was loud, cocky, and totally unfiltered. When the camera returned to the desk, Colbert was already smirking. Genius. Or just loud? He asked, eyebrows raised. The crowd reacted instantly. Some laughed again. Others booed softly, unsure which side to take. Musk leaned forward now. The calm look was gone. "You can't even play in my arena," he said, sharp and low. "Stick to jokes, Stephen. Leave the future to people who actually build things." The line had some heat. You could feel the air get heavier. The crowd split. Half clapped, the other half stayed quiet or muttered. A few shouted from the back. It wasn't just an interview anymore. It was starting to feel like a fight. And it was only getting started. Backstage, producers were already on edge. Some whispered into headsets. Social media was already buzzing. On X, posts started popping up with clips from the opening exchange. One read, "Colbert just called out Musk. To his face." Another, "This is getting wild." People were screen recording, posting reaction videos, adding fire emojis and popcorn gifs. The feed was exploding, but none of that mattered yet to the two men on stage. They were locked in. Colbert, with his sharp questions and cold grin. Musk, with his stiff shoulders and rising frustration. The first punch had landed, and both of them knew. There was no going back now. The moment things really turned came just after that first back and forth. Colbert didn't hold back, he went harder. No pause, no change of tone. He looked Musk straight in the eye and said, "You say you're changing lives, Elon, but Tesla's recalls say otherwise. SpaceX rockets explode more than they land." Then, without warning, the screen behind them lit up again. This time it showed a clip of a rocket launch ending in disaster. Bright flames, metal breaking apart, a loud crash. The audience gasped. A few people even flinched. It wasn't just embarrassing, it was brutal. Elon didn't take his eyes off Colbert. His face tightened. His voice got lower, sharper. "Those are risks," he said through his teeth. "You wouldn't understand. You sit behind a desk and talk. I build things that matter." Colbert tilted his head slightly, like he was studying him. "Risky," he said. "No. Reckless." The word hit like a slap. The crowd reacted immediately. Some cheered, others booed, and a few shouted things from their seats. The energy in the room changed fast. It didn't feel like a show anymore. It felt like a live argument with no clear end in sight, and Colbert wasn't done. He jumped straight to Twitter, or rather, X, as Musk had renamed it. "You bought chaos," he said. "You fired half the staff, unbanned the worst accounts, and turned it into a mess." He paused, then added, "What was the plan? Or was that just another tantrum?" Musk leaned forward now, trying to stay calm, but clearly rattled. "I saved free speech," he said, trying to hold his ground. People were being silenced. "I fixed that." Colbert smiled again, bigger this time. "You didn't save anything," he said. "You broke it, and now you're breaking too." The crowd erupted again, louder than before. Some people laughed, others shouted, and a few stood up. Backstage, the producers were scrambling. They could feel the moment spinning out of control, but nobody wanted to stop it. The tension was real. The cameras kept rolling. The show had slipped into something raw, something totally unplanned. And at the desk, Colbert knew exactly what was happening. His grin stayed. His tone didn't change. He'd seen the crack forming in Musk's armor, and now he was pressing harder. He could smell it. This wasn't going to end with applause. This was heading somewhere much messier. And he wasn't. Backing off, you could see it. The moment things started to crack. Elon's jaw tightened. His eyes narrowed, and the calm tone he'd tried to keep was gone. His voice got louder, sharper, like he was trying to hold it together but couldn't. "You don't get it," he said, leaning in. His hand clenched on the desk. "I'm building the future. I'm doing what no one else is even brave enough to try." But Colbert didn't flinch. He just looked at him and replied, cold and steady, "You're building tears. Look at yourself." That line hit harder than anything before. The crowd went silent for a second. Some people looked at each other, unsure if they should laugh or just stay quiet. A few phones were already up, recording every second. The tension in the room was thick enough to choke on. Elon slammed a hand down. "You're a clown," he shouted. "All you do is talk. I actually do things. I build. I risk everything while you hide behind jokes." Colbert stayed still. He barely blinked. Then he replied, "I'm not the one sweating on national TV." The camera zoomed in just enough to catch Musk's expression. His face was red, his breath uneven. He looked more like a man under fire than a tech genius in control. The sharp comebacks he was known for were gone. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't brushing it off. He was rattled, and everyone could see it. The audience started reacting again, louder this time. Some clapped for Elon's defense, others cheered for Colbert's hit. The room was split, but one thing was clear. Something had shifted. This wasn't about questions anymore. This wasn't just some awkward moment. Musk wasn't just annoyed. He was unraveling piece by piece, right there on stage. And the cameras didn't miss a second. It happened fast, but no one missed it. Elon's voice cracked mid-sentence as he tried to fight back. "I'm not crying," he snapped. "You are." But the shine in his eyes and the shake in his voice told the truth. He was. His face was red, his jaw clenched, but the tears were there, no way to hide it now. The crowd gasped, not because of what he said, but because they could see it all falling apart in real time. Phones shot up instantly. People in the front rows leaned in. Some were already recording, others whispering, "Is this really happening?" And then Colbert, never breaking his cold, sharp tone, leaned forward just slightly and said, "Waterworks incoming." That was it. Musk stood up, grabbed his mic, and slammed it onto the desk. The sound echoed across the studio. "You're nothing," he said, voice shaking, trying to sound tough. But he couldn't stop the crack. The words came out broken. He looked like someone pushed too far, who'd lost the script and couldn't find his way back. Colbert sat still, then said the line that would be replayed millions of times online. "The world sees the genius undone." His voice wasn't loud, but it cut through everything. And then the crowd snapped. A group in the back started chanting, slow at first, "Cry baby, cry baby," and it grew louder. Some were shouting for him, others laughing at him. Elon didn't say anything. He just stood there, eyes wet, fists clenched, trying not to fall apart completely, but it was too late. The clip was already viral. Seconds after the mic hit the table, it was all over X, TikTok, everywhere. People weren't just watching, people were reacting in real time. Elon Musk crying on national TV started trending before he even left the stage. It wasn't a bad interview anymore, it was a breakdown, and everyone saw it happen. Elon stood up fast, knocking his chair back as he yanked the mic from his shirt. The wire snapped with a loud pop. Without saying another word, he threw the mic across the stage. It hit the floor with a hard thud that made even the audience flinch. For a second, everything froze. No music, no lights, just the raw tension hanging in the air. Then the shouting started. The crowd split instantly. Some people were yelling, "Leave him alone," while others laughed or started chanting again. A few even stood up, phones high, recording every second. The energy turned messy and loud. It didn't feel like a TV show anymore. It felt like a fight that no one could stop. Colbert leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, watching it all unfold. He didn't say much, just one line low and sharp. "Run home, Elon. You're done." Security stepped in, moving closer but unsure whether to act. They hovered at the edge of the stage, waiting for a cue that never came. The live feed kept going. No one had cut the cameras. It was all still rolling, and that made it worse or better depending on who you asked. Musk turned to leave, but just before he walked off stage, he shouted back, voice shaky and full of anger, "I'll ruin you." The words didn't land the way he wanted. His voice cracked again, his hands were still shaking, and then he was gone. Stormed off, not looking back. The crowd exploded, half of them cheering, the other half yelling over each other. Studio lights flickered. Producers rushed to the side of the stage. But it was too late. The meltdown had already happened. And it was all caught live. The moment Colbert drops the bombshell on Elon, everything changes. The internet goes wild. Colbert Broke Him starts trending everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube are flooded with clips of Elon visibly upset. his emotions spilling over. The memes quickly follow Tesla tears Rocket Man wrecked. They're everywhere. It's like the whole internet has a field day. But Elon's not taking it lying down. He tweets truth wins not tears, trying to defend himself and shake off the whole thing. But the replies? They don't let up. You cried though, they say. The comments explode. Some of his fans jump in defending him, saying it's all part of the pressure, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But the haters? They pile on, mocking him even more. It doesn't take long before the debate takes over. People start arguing. Was Colbert too harsh? Did he go too far with the jokes, or was Elon just too sensitive? The whole situation leaves everyone divided, with the fallout only getting bigger as the drama unfolds across every social media platform. The next time Colbert takes the stage, he wastes no time. He kicks off the show with a line that stings. He brought the tears, I brought the heat. The crowd goes wild and the ratings shoot up. It's clear Colbert's feeling victorious, but the question on everyone's mind is Elon plotting his comeback? Colbert teases the next show, saying, next guest better come with tissues, leaving the audience hanging. The screen fades out, and the final message hits. This clash shook the internet, and it's far from over. Subscribe for what comes next. It leaves you wondering what's coming.